Let's talk about the Wuhan virus, coronavirus, COVID-19. What benefits does this virus have for the USA and the convenience of the main outbreaks being in these three countries? China, Iran and Italy. In this video I'd like to discuss the beneficial coincidences that this has for America. Let's start with China. China is the factory of the world and is shut down now to a virus so deadly that it's going to have economic effects on that country for years to come. China is a country very much in debt right now and is the world's largest debtor since 2015. China has been borrowing money at a massive rate to stimulate growth within the country, and the national GDP has not moved much since 2015. But here's the kicker. Most of the Chinese debt is only payable back in US dollars, as Chinese yuan is not accepted as payment by international creditors. So the Chinese are heavily dependent on their factories pumping out products to furnish the debt they have amassed. If China cannot pay this debt back in dollars, you will soon start to see the credit dry up. We are at the stage where China has had no income from products for about 2 months. And this will only get worse as the rest of the world goes into lockdown. I believe that the virus is having an effect on us, the consumer, subliminally, and we're already thinking about, double thinking about buying stuff from China already. And we can see how the Chinese government are trying to distance themselves from this virus. As I said at the start of the video, we're on name 3 now. When the virus was first discovered by the locals in Wuhan, it was called the Wuhan virus. The Chinese government realised quickly that the economic effects that this would have on the country and changed the name to coronavirus. But then people start calling it the Chinese coronavirus, and the Chinese government put pressure on the WHO to change the name to COVID-19, which is what we have now. As you've seen with the Spanish flu in 1918, in the 1918s, the economy of Spain was decimated from 1918 to the mid-1930s. And this is normally what happens when a virus or a new disease is found in your country. Ebola is named after the river where it was discovered. The German measles, I really don't need to tell you about that one. West Nile virus, Egypt. Lyme's disease, probably not so well known, but that started off in a place called Lyme in Connecticut in America. The Chinese were well aware what a virus can do to the economy, and has seen what it has done to economies over the years. Here's another thing that's not being spoken about right now, which is a Chinese spokesperson for the Chinese government said on Wednesday, the 11th of March, the virus is a bioweapon planted by the Americans. But again, we're not seeing this on the news. That statement in itself is a declaration of war. One country using a bioweapon against another, it breaks all treaties. This is a topic that I'd like to talk about in another video. But now I'd just like to tell you about, in 2015, in the epicenter of the outbreak in China, which is Wuhan, the Chinese government opened up their first virology lab. It's called BSL-4. This lab is the government's highest level of biosafety lab, which is a level 4 that deals with the likes of SARS, Ebola, MRS and all of the nasty viruses known to man. We live in scary times right now and nobody knows which way to look. So this is the finish of part 1 of this video. In part 2 I'm going to talk about Iran and mainly about the Belt and Road Initiative.